was with them.
Oh, they know each other very well.
Yeah.
John wasn't with him, but
okay, gotcha.
I don't know what John's role. This was
right.
Howard 25 years ago. But they know each other very well. So Tom Darrow would come down. He was making his Erie media tour. I think he'd done TV in the morning, and then he'd come on with me, and we always had a great conversation about tourism up there, and that's, they're obviously competing with the Canadian side and all that stuff. But anyways, he was a great guest. So he was on the air that morning at 9:00. The first plane hits before 9, and the national coverage had kind of just started. And I remember him having this interview with Tom, and we're doing the normal shtick, and we had whatever CNN or whatever was on at the time in the studio. And I remember the second plane hitting, and you watched it live, and I thought to myself, did that just happen? Like, that's not a replay? That just happened because they were live at that point, because the first plane had hit. Yeah. And everybody, the media had finally gathered. So I thought, man, this is wow. And so we let him basically. I went to a break. I want to say I went to a break because at that point Chris Haggerty was in charge, and he was saying, "Listen, this guy's got to go. We're gonna change what we're doing here." We stayed on live for maybe an hour, and by 10:00 it was like, "Get off the air. The Nationals are taking over."
Right. Yes.
Hey, chump, get out of the way. But so Tom Darrow's nephew worked in that building in the Trade Center. Right? So he is watching this from our studio as it happens, and he says to me, "My nephew works in that building." That's interesting. His phone rings immediately, and it was like his mother or something who knew that he worked there. Right? So we didn't know how that ended, but he got out. He beat feet in a hurry. He's like, I got to go. And we're like, holy cow, this thing just hit home. For us in Erie, Pennsylvania, you're already dealing with this stuff. Now this person I'm interviewing, as it turns out, his nephew didn't make it. Didn't make it in that event, and he was in Erie on talk radio with me at the time. Wow. So amazing. We still relive that. We still talk pretty regularly, and how he was there then is just all amazing. So, anyways, we have that. We all have a personal connection with 9/11. Right, let's be honest. So, I'm fascinated to hear Andy Card tonight talk about that, because that iconic photo of him leaning in, telling the president, reading to the school kids in Florida, we're under attack. I can't imagine. So I'm fascinated to hear it. I suspect that Jefferson, they don't bring in slouches. I suspect he'll be a tremendous guest and storyteller, and us and a bunch of us are going to head over tonight and see it. So
they're having like a special week where there's something every night this week, and I think maybe on Thursdays at noon or something like that. But I mean, they're talking about the White House. I think they have the former White House usher, and historian. They're having women of the United States, kind of like a historical. This week, go to jeserie.org for the
I'm guessing
full lineup.
The two best storytellers are the ushers and the Secret Service.
I would imagine
at the White House. Yeah, no political stake. Just they're going to spill their guts. They're always the best storytellers.
They see all of it for sure.
Yeah,
a really big week here. So we had two weeks of bombing back and forth. Had several casualties. Including 3 servicemen, right? Men and women last week, young ones too. I mean, those Gold Star families, of an 18-year-old losing your 18-year-old. I just can't even imagine. And now, right now, there's kind of like a pause, where there's a concern that, well, again, according to the New York Times, there's this concern that we're going to run out of munitions, that we're going to run out of Patriot missiles or air defenses and so on.
That was allegedly, by the way, one of the military leaders over there, right, who said that. Yeah. That was a credible source, the way I read it.
Is that how you read it?
Yeah, that's my understanding. Okay. I didn't look incredibly deeply into it.
Like, I'm dumbfounded that we would
I don't know if that's the
be
case.
Running out.
I don't know if that's the case. Maybe,
but they're these things take logistics, and you have a $2,000 drone going after, being shot down by a $3 million Patriot missile. It's just there's a asymmetrical approach to war, isn't there? Not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're any place different than we have been. Right? It seems like we're here talking about the same exact thing. I know Trump is threatening something major. We'll see. Iran is not buying that language. the rhetoric at this point, right? It doesn't seem that way. So again, maybe we're in a great place. Maybe the world's safer. Certainly they've been degraded. Have they been degraded enough? I know Trump said the last couple of days for the next decade. Maybe that's the case. They're still launching, right? There's still attacks.
There's still attacks,
on our allies in that region. You're still dealing with the Strait. So, we don't know. I heard some of his conversation. I think he's in Michigan today. Big election coming up there, by the way. Big Democratic primary up there, which will be an interesting one. So, we'll see. To me, the song, it's Led Zeppelin. The song remains the same. That's kind of where we are. Maybe we're in a great spot. Maybe we're not. The jury remains out, I think, at this point.
How much are the political ramifications of the war? How much should we be thinking about that? If the goal is that they don't have a nuclear weapon, there should be no ramifications of the midterms. But I feel like the midterms are in every sentence, every introductory sentence about war coverage.
I don't think there are implications from the war directly for most people. I think there are implications in the distraction that the war has maybe caused this administration to take their eye off the domestic ball. So if the war is contributory to gas prices, then it has a massive effect. If it contributes to the price of goods and services, then it has an effect. And I think that it has. It's hard to argue anything different at this point. Gas prices are tied to everything, essentially, as far as cost. And they're back up now. You guys talked about it in the first hour.
Yeah.
They're 420 or whatever the Pennsylvania average is. Mm-hmm. Would they be at 420 if we weren't involved in this? And again, Judge Schroeder, when he was here a couple of weeks ago, said one nuclear bomb can ruin your day. We get it. We understand that. But I think the American people, I will continue to tell you, I still believe prices are too high. It is a problem, and they believe he is distracted in this. Doesn't mean the action isn't worth it or might not be worth it in the end, but I still think that's the driving force. So the thing that is helping Republicans, and it always helps Republicans, is Democrats. They are going to find their way to shoot themselves in the foot again, and they are doing it now. The Democratic Socialist National Co-Chair was on Fox yesterday. Give her credit. She went on Fox,
true, yeah.
right, on the national one, and answered every question, straight up, every question. You would see, there are very few Democrats that will go on that station, right, and answer those questions. And there are very few Republicans that go on MSNBC.
They're talking about absolutely blowing up the Constitution.
Exactly. You want a Senate? Nope. You want a president? Nope. You want police? Nope. You want prisons? Nope. What are you going to do? Well, and their argument is, listen, with socialism, when we redistribute all of your wealth, most crimes are crimes of poverty. Maybe I don't know if that's the truth or not. But their argument is most crimes are crimes of poverty. There won't be poverty because we're going to steal from those of you who are actually working for a living and give it to those who are not, and they're going to be fine, and they're not going to commit crimes. That's their answer. And she was not afraid to say it. No Pentagon. How are we supposed to protect ourselves? Do you think the Russians and Chinese are just, don't worry about it. They don't have a military. It'll be fine. It's crazy. But these candidates are out there. You have one in Michigan. You have one now in Maine, right? They're out there. And normal people are going to say to themselves, I can't. How am I supposed to vote Democrat as long as these people have? And they now think they have 1/3 of the Democratic voters at this point. They think incredible. 1/3 now are leaning that way. They've tapped into something. I continue to say that. They have tapped into a very big unhappiness through a lot of the electorate.
My understanding that the folks that are leaning to the DSC, right? DSA, excuse me, is the almost like overeducated, white liberals, like they have too much, they have advanced degrees
and
they're like
social studies,
or art,
and they can't find a
art
job.
History,
exactly,
yeah,
and they can't find a job. Surprise, surprise. Yes,
a lot of time on their hands.
Those are the people. Yes, they're incredibly educated and can't find a job in their field. Should that shock anybody? But it's more than that. They're tapping into young people. They're tapping into the same group of people essentially that Donald Trump did. There's a certain populism in it.
Interesting.
But the electorate is very unhappy. I would not want to be an incumbent in a swing district. I'm not sure I'd want to be an incumbent at all for federal office this year, and they have tapped into that. But it is so scary. I think enough people in the middle will be like, no, man, I'm not touching that. I'm not happy, but I ain't touching that. So I think the thing, keeping Republican numbers edged up in generic ballots over the weekend.
Do you believe that though?
Yes. I mean that
is saying Democrats +2 in some of these polls.
Yeah, but
in the generic congressional ballot.
But the Republicans over the weekend have ramped. They've gotten closer with that number because people like Van Jones and James Carville and Chuck Schumer are out there going, these socialist people are crazy. Don't listen to them. But people are listening to them. So,
and who's coming out in a midterm? Again, there's no president at the top of the ticket.
No, you need enthusiastic.
So you're either voting for a senator, which even in PA we don't have one. Like you're voting for this. The
socialist candidates
Michigan
are winning.
Or Maine or
most of
Iowa.
them are winning. Most of them are winning. The Michigan candidate likely wins.
Really?
Yeah, it looks that way today.
Yeah.
So
what happens in Georgia? Like, does John Ossoff win again?
He has crazy money.
Yeah.
Have you seen what he can raise?
Yeah, we need to talk about the money thing because I want to talk about this story in the New York Times yesterday about the Democrats are like the DSC, the Democratic National Committee, DNC, are in a world of hurt compared to what the Republicans have to be able to make investments in key races.
Yep.
Dino's with us. It's Talk Erie. Stay with us. Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show. Some music of when Ardino was a disc jockey at K104.
Long-haired.
Axel F.
Yeah.
You were long-haired.
Long-haired FM dope smoking type. No, I didn't do that.
You didn't do dope.
Little Rush Limbaugh for you right there.
There you go. Between my nicotine-stained fingers, right?
So
Isn't
great.
that what he used to say?
So great. Yeah,
my
I had the
gosh.
hair. Yeah, I used to have hair.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was a nice time.
All right, here's the headline from the New York Times yesterday. Inside the phone-throwing drama at the troubled, broke Democratic Party, the subhead, the Democrats should be well-positioned to make gains in this year's midterms, but inside party headquarters, every week brings paranoia, worries about money, and on occasion, emotional eruptions. And it's really kind of a scathing article about the head of the DNC, Ken Martin.
Yeah.
He's worried about a coup. You know, they don't have any money. They're
Yep.
$15 million in debt. The Republicans have like, you know, close to $400 million going into the midterms. Some incredible amount of money.
Yep. I'll tell you why.
What's this all about?
Two things. Democrats typically live on small donors. Not so much the big donors like Republicans and PACs.
What about,
But
like-
they'll live on small donors, but yeah, and there are some. But
I was gonna
again,
say,
you're
George-
talking.
We hear George Soros
I understand that.
every other day.
I understand it, but Democrats by and large, Republicans by and large have potentially bigger donors,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
There's just more of them, but yeah, Soros is a factor. But typically they'll do better with average people in small donation numbers. Those numbers won't come. They're not going to come in the middle of summer. They're not coming. No one's thinking about it.
Yeah.
Those people are not. They're going to think about it after Labor Day, number one. So those numbers they'll get there. They won't get near the Republicans, but they'll get there. But most important is they have no leader. There is no one at the top of the ticket to drive fundraising. Why are Democrats giving money today? Why would they give money? Why would you write a check to the DNC?
Well, they were
today?
probably giving money to Graham Plattner until he folded up.
That was Hollywood money there, and yes, but they were for the most part they were local donors.
And like you say,
right?
John Ossoff's
He's
really
raising money
fundraising
like crazy. He's going to be
yeah.
presidential. I don't know about 28, but
Yeah.
he'll eventually, if he can win Georgia,
Yeah.
he's got a shot. I think. Who knows? Maybe they're looking at it for 28. So, but they need a leader. They need a leader. They need someone that they can follow who will say, "Here, I'm worth your money."
Why
you've
isn't
got to do
Josh
it.
Shapiro that leader? Governor of Pennsylvania.
'cause there's
the
no-
number one swing state.
And he was with
He's a
Hakeem
very-
Jeffries yesterday.
Yeah.
Because he can't win the primary. That's why. Today he cannot win the primary because the Democratic Socialists are not going to endorse him.
Because he's pro-Israel.
Did you see the New Hampshire poll, by the way?
I did not.
28 New Hampshire poll, AOC running away. Pete Buttigieg second. It's like 22%, 21%.
AOC running away.
Her and Buttigieg. Then it's
Yeah.
at 8% is Newsom and
Where's Kamala?
Kamala's
Yeah.
down there in those numbers. This is what happens. This is why the Democratic Party is in trouble. They're not going to today. They wouldn't be able to take advantage of the opening that the Republican Party should have given them.
Yeah, it should be a bloodbath against the Republicans.
She
right
cannot win the presidency. She's not winning the that can't happen. But she can.
You talk about Alexandria
Yeah.
Ocasio-Cortez.
No way can she win the presidency. But she certainly
sure
could win
about that?
Yeah, the presidency. Yes, the Democratic nomination for president. She could win that.
Yeah.
But you tell me she's going to beat Marco Rubio? You tell me AOC is going to win Michigan, Pennsylvania, right? Ohio? AOC is going to win Ohio?
Yeah.
No chance. And the White House is going to run through that state. So Georgia, look at North Carolina, all the swing states. So that to me is they'll raise money when somebody becomes the head of that party. That's where they're at.
They'll raise money when somebody becomes the head of that party.
Why would you give money? For what purpose?
Yeah.
Because you hate Donald Trump? They've already given for that reason. They need a leader, and they don't have one today.
All right, let's grab a quick phone call. I'm up against the bottom of the hour, but you're live on Talk Erie. Go ahead.
Hey guys, I hear you guys talking about the Democrat Party and stuff. They're cooked. They're done, guys. I mean, they've let their party be hijacked by communists and socialists. So they're done.
I wouldn't be so confident about that, though. I don't think.
I mean, right now it's heading. I mean, they can take it back, right? But like, it's heading that way. They've been taken over by the crazies,
It's only going to get worse for them.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know where they go. I think the party's just done. I think. I mean, think about it. In the 50s, 60s, guys, like if you would have ran as a communist or a socialist, they probably would have locked you away. And now it's just like, it's okay, just go ahead and do it. Like, where did this become okay? It's un-American. There's nothing American about running as a communist or a socialist. It's un-American, and America knows that.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much, man. See ya. Bye bye.
They've done a good job of tapping into a desire from people that there are haves and have-nots in this country. Decide for yourself whether you think that's the case or whatever, right?
There is an extreme amount of wealth on the top end. You know. The oligarchs. What? How? I got to do my Bernie, right? The oligarchs.
Well, yes, right?
You know.
And we could argue all day how that happens or whatever, but they have tapped into the reality that there is a feeling that there are haves and have-nots, and that the answer to that is to take from the haves and give to the have-nots.
And
they have tapped into something that is
really
is resonating.
easy for them to promote that nobody has any agency anymore. That no one, that the whole American ideal of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps,
right,
and and making a go in this economy, and I could feel their pain when a house in Erie, Pennsylvania, is $250,000 to start, and your wages are still extremely below the national and state average. That's a problem. That's a problem.
And they've tapped into it, but I don't think the answer is wealth redistribution.
No, of course not.
I don't think it's eliminating prisons. Prisons will be eliminated because you just give money to the poor from the rich, and they'll stop committing crimes.
And this is
ridiculous.
This is the great problem with Trump, is that he gave those people hope, and he has not been keeping his eye on the ball on America first.
I believe that's true. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if he would be able to instill that agency again, I think. But he's not on the ticket.
Yes.
You know, he has a limited attention span.
Legacies are made internationally, and I'm
you keep saying that.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. And that's what he's most concerned about.
No, I think he wants world peace. I mean, I get it. I think he does. And
What
I
is
think
this,
is the way it is.
miscongeniality?
But I think he wants that. I think he wants the legacy that goes with it.
Okay. We're already halfway through here. Dino's with us. It's Talk Erie. Back live from 429 State. It's the Joel Natale Show. Live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here on Talk Erie, 105.9 WZTE. Our political guru, Dean Pepicello, is with us. Our phone number, 814-679-1080. White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Part two.
He was supposed to be, what was he going to be? Funny and like some kind of outrageous or, He was planning on being very, very cutthroat, if you will.
Okay, sure.
The president.
With the media?
Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
No.
I didn't really.
Was it on?
I'm sure you can get clips, right?
I heard some clips today. The clips I heard, I just didn't think they were funny. I'd just rather have Trump be a complete jerk. Be the guy you are, call him out. To try and make that funny is probably tough to do. But I don't know. I'm sure parts of it were. That thing's hilarious. Like, I love the political humor. And if you look back at the presidents who've been there, I think the Correspondents' Dinner is an awesome thing. I don't know, what I heard wasn't hilarious.
We should probably, I think our friend Steve Scully is in town. We should probably ask him how he did here. Let's grab a phone call here. Hi, you're live on Talk Erie with Dino.
Hey, I love that dinner there, Joel.
Okay.
Wolf Blitzer was the best, man.
Wolf.
He was the best. Those facial expressions from Trump said it all. I think they got under his skin a little bit. But anyhow, Joel, I was thinking, you were talking about you didn't know how to have regular people on there. And I think that'd be a great idea. Just go outside and grab somebody and bring them in and introduce them and let them tell you their story from their neighborhood. We get tired of politicians being on there, so-called community activists, social justice warriors. Try, it ain't got to be a whole boring hour. Just bring them on for 10 or 15 minutes and check out what's happening in their life, But anyhow, I see Dino has a free ticket to the JES tonight, huh, babe?
No one said that. No one said that.
Well, you didn't pay for it. We know you didn't pay for it.
Oh, I paid for it. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah. Okay, well, then you know what? I want to see a receipt.
I didn't say I paid for it in cash. Don't. I didn't say that.
Let me ask you this. Andy Card, will he play the Trump card tonight? Will he mention Trump 10 times or the administration? You think so, Dino?
I think he's telling his story, isn't he? Mostly.
Yeah, I would think it'd have a lot more to do with the Bush administration, but I could see him mentioning it, sure, especially if it gets asked.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, what would it be, the JES not taking a cheap shot at Trump? I mean, he's a Republican. He's not a liberal, is he?
I wouldn't think. He worked in the Bush administration, so
he's a Republican.
I got to imagine he's pretty conservative.
He could also be a rino like you. So.
Here it comes.
Oh, there it goes.
It's 3 shots. If you're keeping track at home, that's 3 shots.
But hey, Joe, go outside there and bring somebody in, man, and get their story. It's not all Smith hot dogs in Erie. Everything's not great. Pull somebody in and talk to them about their situation in their neighborhood. All right?
All right, sir. Good ideas. Appreciate it, man. There you go.
Man on the street never goes well.
Absolutely.
Or woman on the street never goes well.
No, well, you know what's coming up is Celebrate Erie, and every once in a while we'll pull out the long microphone.
Oh,
for
good.
that.
Oh, it's
Why not?
funny.
It
can be. I mean, most of these shows turn it into humor. They clip it all up. You know what I mean?
That is true.
I find it to be incredibly entertaining.
Where are we at? I wanted to get your reaction. This just came across on my notifications from the New York Times. Trump asked Supreme Court to allow order restricting mail voting. The Trump administration is asking justices to intervene after an appeals court blocked key parts of a mail-in voting executive order. So, What do you, I mean, isn't mail-in voting the law of the land
It's
right
not.
now?
It's not going to play. He's not going to get what's the act that he wants? He's not going to get
the SAVE Act.
He's not going to get it. The Save America Act. They're not going to have the votes in the Senate. John Thune told him that is not going to happen.
Is that a lack of will on Thune's part and on Langford's part?
No Democrat's going to vote for it, and the 4 Republicans pretty much hate Trump or just don't believe they should go there.
Yeah, Tom Tillis.
Yeah,
I mean,
right. You're talking Massey and Tillis and McConnell,
Cassidy.
right? Whatever. So you're. Here's the point. You're not going to get them, right? Trump is trying to pressure them. He's trying to use all the influence he can. That's fine. It's not going to happen. He's not going to get the vote. So now he's going to look other ways. The Supreme Court's they're not. None of these are going to work.
Methodology is dictated by the states as well.
Exactly. Listen, I hate mail-in balloting. It shouldn't happen.
Yeah,
it ought to
blame
be
the Republicans in the state legislature.
In Pennsylvania for
Yes.
Act 77, yes. And you can look at every other state. Voting is done by the states. End of story. Feds have, they can have their influence. They can talk till they're blue in the face. Elections are a state activity. I like that. They should be. End of story. And I hate mail-in voting. But he's not going to win any of these arguments. He's committed to it, but
here's what I don't understand, Dino. What is it about mail-ins that Republicans can't seem to navigate well, or does it really matter, or is there just this innate belief that there's just all kinds of corruption going on with mail-in balloting?
Well, Trump believes it. I don't know if there are nefarious things going on, but you can't tell anyone that there aren't nefarious things going on. That's what the issue with no excuse, no fault mail-in balloting is. And you can't tell me when Democrats, when one party does something 2/3 of the time more than another party, that doesn't make sense in this country. We're a 50-50 country. That's where we are.
Some of those ratios are like 4 to 1.
Exactly.
5 to 1.
So that tells me something's wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Something is wrong. Ballot harvesting happens. You saw the case in New Jersey, 6,000 people, whatever the number was, that shouldn't have been registered. Now, they pared that number down to 400. 400 actually voted illegally, and they're saying, well, the system worked. We caught these people. They're not residents, so they shouldn't be voting. So we caught them, so the system worked. Nobody's buying that either. No, I know that mail-in voting is popular, right? But it's like ID when you vote.
Yeah.
85% of the country thinks it's fine. I think 85% of the country thinks mail-in balloting is probably right for harvesting or whatever, but I like it. I like it. I want to get my ballot at home. I don't want to be rushed. I want to look up candidates. I want to vote when I want to vote. It's not going away. As much as some of us hate it, me included, it's not going away. I just think he's barking at the wrong tree. I know it's important to him. I know he thinks he won the 2020 election.
Right.
Okay, whatever. But it's not. None of this. They're not going to get a ruling from the Supreme Court. He's not going to get the votes in the Save America Act, and leave it to the states. End of story. See, I can go vote for my representative. Now I can go lean on Bob Mursky, my state representative,
Sure.
and tell him I think mail-in voting stinks, and here's why. And I want you to vote that way. And if you don't vote that way, I'm voting against you. That's cool. Like I get to do that, right? This should be a state's issue, I think.
Okay. Let's talk about the states. Stacey Garrity's been around town this weekend. Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis came by. They launched their 100 days to victory kind of campaign. Anything moving at all?
Yeah.
Any needles moving?
Yeah, there is excitement in the Garrity camp that the numbers will tighten. They're starting to feel better than they have, and I thought they would. I've said here for weeks that those numbers will tighten. They're not 30% or whatever the 30 points.
Has Dave McCormick come out and endorse Garrity?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know that.
I think he's got a strong following.
Oh, without a doubt. Did you see he called Fetterman the best senator, the most popular senator in Pennsylvania? But Dave's like, oh, I'm better dressed. You know, it's great. Those two are friends. They're legit friends, by the way. And it's pretty cool.
And there was an announcement today from Fetterman about the what do you call it? The 60 vote thing. What is it? A filibuster.
Yeah.
He issued something in the Washington Post that's talking about the Democrats getting it wrong.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. He's right on another swing issue. I mean, give him credit. But the governor race will tighten. Watch. I mean, will it be enough? Who knows? But those numbers will tighten. I'm not surprised. And I know the Garrity camp feels they're going to tighten. I think they feel pretty good, really, about where they are, given it's July.
Wow.
All things considered, I mean, you know, you're facing a juggernaut, a popular governor with high poll numbers and a lot of money. I mean, when you factor all of that in, but that race will get closer.
The what's happening locally? I'm trying to think of if we've kind of had a quiet. You know, summer's kind of quiet with the city and the county, although we still haven't gotten a. Well, we're going to talk to the mayor this week. We'll have to ask her about the PFM and the 12 million and all that.
Yeah,
you know,
the cuts are big.
I mean, they did a workforce reduction. What's the other shoe to drop?
I don't know, but it'll have to be a lot, right? I mean, you can't do it all with revenue. There's no way you can't tax people to prosperity. You can't. You do the story in the first hour. The realtors talking about people leaving the city, right, for the suburbs, and that's like that, driving the house prices are crazy. Home prices are crazy in the suburbs right now. They're lasting hours, not days, let alone weeks or months.
Why
we got to address it.
Why aren't build? I mean, you have land to build on, right? Mm-hmm. Why aren't builders just building? Like where is that? Where is the franchise builder?
Everyone says that. We talked about this earlier. That we're still losing population.
That's
like,
true.
How many homes are you going to build? Who is going to buy them? I know people are leaving certain areas for other areas, but we're not going forward in population. I get that you say there's a housing crisis. Who's going to live in these? Who? The city's, what's the population of the city? 85?
It's 92.
92 now? I mean, the counties, not one or two municipalities have their population increased. Harbor Creek didn't increase in the last day, allegedly. Mm-hmm. We should have challenged it because we think we did, but it wasn't a lot. It's not like we went up by 1,000 people, but we went up by a few hundred.
The county went down, 7%?
So where are these people living? I get it. We have this need apparently for affordable housing, whatever that means. Who is living in these places, and what are you doing with the places that they're leaving? Because not all that many people. So I don't. The crisis isn't number to me. It's where. It's quality of life.
Right. It kind of goes back to what we talked about a couple weeks ago, you know, with the guy getting run over and just the level of crime. And again, to what Deonte was saying in the earlier hour, it gets a lot of press when there's a fight at Spoon's basketball court, but it doesn't get a lot of press when, you know, kids are graduating with honors, you know. I mean, we've got to make sure we're working on that too.
Sure,
you know,
that's fine too. But go ahead and walk 4 or 5 blocks right now. I mean, tell me what you think.
Well,
tell me if you're comfortable.
I tell you what, I hate to say it out, but I don't feel comfortable walking past Lucky's, which is across the street from City Hall and the police department.
And I know people that just got back from New York City, thought it was the safest city they've ever been in. Walked around all weekend, had no problem at all. Yeah. Didn't feel unsafe.
I wish, and again, I am number one pro EPD, but I just wish I'd see a few more bicycle cops pass my window. Maybe they need to do it just for my attention. Can you go past once a week?
Well, I there's a political aspect to that.
Right. Yeah.
There's a large portion of the community they don't want to see the police. They don't think there ought to be police at all, and they think that their presence is problematic. Yeah. So it's very difficult. I'm glad I don't have to figure it out. I'm just telling you that I think the city has struggled recently with some of these issues.
I've got to take it up, with the reason why people feel more comfortable in Times Square in Manhattan than they might in Perry Square in Erie.
Most people would tell you that.
Is because of the police presence. When you're standing in Times Square, when you're looking at all those billboards, there are a pair of cops on every single corner.
Yep.
And you feel safe.
And you know what? You're taxed to death for that, probably.
For sure.
And the city doesn't have the same luxury to say, sure, we're going to double your taxes. We can have more police. I'm sure there are many in City Hall who would like to do that. So I know it's a luxury they don't have as well. Mm-hmm. You got to figure it out. We talked about this a few weeks ago. You have to figure it out. I don't have that answer. I wish I did, but I don't. But it has to be done.
Anything you're looking forward to this week, or
80 degrees and not humid?
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
Baseball. We've got
See what's back
Akron
going.
coming to town.
I'm not scheduled to work, but I might. We'll see.
All right.
We're going to go play some rock and roll this weekend.
Awesome. Enjoy Andy Card.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
Yeah, all week at the Jefferson. Good stuff. Check it out. Thank you, Dino.
Thanks, guys.
Finishing things on a Monday. And we want to thank Deontay Cooley for being with us in the 4 o'clock hour. He is pushing hard for folks to find out more about what it would take to get into the trades and take advantage of this renaissance that we're having here in Erie, Pennsylvania. And, of course, thanks so much to our political guru, Dean Pepicello. All right, Shani, what does Tuesday look like here on the show?
Tomorrow, we're having some guests that come to us via Steve Scully, our friend.
Nice.
So Stuart McLaurin and Gary Walters will be here.
Okay, they're the historians of the White House, so going to have a really cool
be
conversation with that. And, of course, it's our Tuesday autofocus with our automotive guru, Mr. Mike Paris. Don't forget, in the morning at 8:30, it is the Other Side Publishing, and it's the Andrea Richmond Show, right?
Yes, indeed.
So you want to tune in for that. Thank you, Shani Bills. Thank you, dear listener. Hope that you have a terrific night. Enjoy this mild weather. Might get some rain, but the grass needs it. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow.